Welcome to another session in the section Evolution, and this presentation brings to you the theories of organic evolution. Um, Various theories have been put forward to explain the mechanism of evolution, and the most important among them are the Lamarckism or Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters, theory of natural selection by Darwin, theory of continuity of germplasm by Weeman, theory of mutation by De Vries, synthetic theory of evolution as proposed by modern evolutionists, theory of punctuated equilibrium by Stephen Gall and Niles Eldredge. So we'll be looking into in detail the Lamarckism. Okay. Lamarckism was actually the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. It's put forward by Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, who was a French biologist and is considered to be the founder of the first complete theory of evolution. Um, Lamarckism, he was actually Lamarck was the first modern naturalist to discard the concept of fixed species. Instead, he was thoroughly convinced that living organisms underwent changes in the course of time, leading to the production of new species. So, Lamarck was also the first to state that complex organisms evolved from simpler ones. He made extensive studies on invertebrates, which resulted in a greatly improved classification, including the recognition of the invertebrates and vertebrates as different sections of the animal kingdom. Now, Lamarck explained the origin of new species by introducing the theory of inheritance of acquired characters, uh, and this theory was published in his famous treatise Philosophic Zoologies in the year 1809. He recognized a fundamental continuity in the diverse kinds of animals and believed that there had been progressive development in form and structure during the course of formation of a new species. Um, and these his views, as mentioned in the particular theory of inheritance of acquired characters, it can be summarized in the form of four laws. Okay, the first one says that nature tends to increase the size of living organisms and their component parts. That is, the living organisms and their component parts tend to increase in size. Second, production of new organ is resulted from a new need. The production, it is actually a product of a new need felt by the organism. The constant use of an organ uh, makes it more developed, and this use of an organ results in reduction and degeneration of that particular organ. Fourth one says acquired characters developed by individuals during their own lifetime are inheritable. That is, it can be passed to the next generation. And the acquired characters accumulate over a period of time, resulting in a new species. So Lamarck's theory, in his own words, can be briefed as the environment affects the shape and organizations. Frequent or continuous use develops and enlarges any organ, while by permanent disuse, it weakens until it finally disappears. All acquisitions or losses wrought through influence of the environment and hence through use and disuse are preserved by reproduction. This particular what you call a brief description, it includes all the four laws as explained in the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. It says that it is the environment that actually influences the shape and organization of a living organism. Secondly, it says that frequent use of any organ, it can like better develop the particular organ, and then permanent disuse, it weakens or it even results in disappearance of the particular organ. Thirdly, that the production of new organ, it is actually made possible by the need felt by the organism, and later all these characters which are acquired during the life of a particular organism is inheritable. that is, it is preserved by reproduction, it indicates that it is inheritable. It passes to the next generation. Okay, so the four laws, it has been put into a single sentence. Fine, I hope it is clear. Now, the to account for evolutionary account for evolutionary changes in animals, two basic ideas were put forward by Lamarck. One was use and disuse of organ, and the second was inheritance of acquired characters. So according to Lamarck's theory of use and disuse, organs or structures put to greater use become well developed, whereas those that are put to lesser use or constant disuse tend to weaken gradually and eventually disappear. So it can be said that variations that appear in animals mainly through use or disuse of certain parts, certain body parts, brought about as a result of conscious effort or felt need of the animal in response to various environmental factors. Such variations are referred as acquired modifications. And according to Lamarck, these acquired modifications are heritable from parents to the offspring. In the offspring, repetition of such efforts under similar environmental conditions will result in the production of new characters and thus the development of a new species. Now, Lamarck cited many examples to prove or to illustrate how new species may arise because of this use and disuse of organs. And two examples cited here, it is the web of aquatic birds and long neck of giraffe. Even further examples Lamarck suggested were the long legs of water birds and the well-developed biceps muscles of blacksmith. So we can see each example in detail. Aquatic birds, Lamarck believed that birds were originally terrestrial, and if a land bird were forced to go into a pond in search of food, it will have to spread its toes in order to, that is fingers, okay, in order to support itself in water. As a result of such continuous stretching of the toes, the skin at the base of the toe would be enlarged and muscular movements will promote an extra flow of blood to the feet. After a number of generations, this results in the formation of a web in between the toes, as we can see in the case of ducks, pelicans, and other such water birds. So, web of aquatic birds, it is as per Lamarck, it is developed due to the need felt by the bird, uh, so as to make them, so as to help them to search for food in water, and this need felt actually resulted in what you call use of these uh, like webbed feet in a constant in a continuously, and this resulted in the formation of new species with webbed feet. Okay, now long neck of giraffe, another interesting example of continuous use of an organ. It is a long neck of giraffe, and Lamarck suggested that ancestors of giraffe, here you can see. Okay, this is what Lamarck suggested. So, according to Lamarck, ancestors of giraffe had a short neck and uniform length of limbs. They had to feed on small herbs. When the herbs became scarce, the ancestral forms were forced to browse on the leaves of trees. So they had to, when the herbs became decreased, so they had to, they were forced to feed upon leaves on the trees. And in attempting to reach the leaves on the trees, they had to stretch their necks. Later on, when the lower branches had been eaten away, the animals were forced to stretch their neck still further. And this resulted in a short increase in the length of the neck, and this acquired character was transmitted to the next generation. Thus, after many generations of continuous stretching, the modern long-necked giraffe came into existence. This is what Lamarck explains how long-necked giraffe had been, such a species had formed. Okay. Similarly, the water birds, okay, the long legs of water birds, as per Lamarck, it was formed by continuous stretching of the leg in an effort to keep the body above the water level. Similarly, well developed biceps muscles was also developed due to the continuous use of the muscles. As per Lamarck, it is passed from one generation to another. Now, the second is the disuse theory. Under use and disuse of organ, the second aspect was the disuse theory. Um, Many examples came up, and here two examples are cited: loss of limbs in snakes and flightless birds. Okay, Lamarck illustrated the theory of disuse by citing the structure of snake, the present day snake. He pointed out that snakes were originally lizard-like. Okay, this is what, as per Lamarck, the snakes look like in the ancient past. Okay, but in order to crawl through ground, they had to stretch their body repeatedly, and in this process, the paired limbs were a hindrance to movement through stones, and hence legs were not used. Due to disuse, they became rudimentary, and continuous disuse through several generations led to the disappearance of the limbs in the snakes. And the present day snake doesn't have any limbs. So this is what the what Lamarck explains, how snakes doesn't have any limbs, but all the members of reptilia do have limbs in there. So the next example is about the flightless birds. The absence of flight with the loss of wings in kiwis of New Zealand, other flightless birds, arose out of continuous disuse of wings. So as Romer has pointed out, the acquisition of flight in birds, or development of flight in birds, was mainly due to the efforts for escape from the attack of predators on the ground. Flightless birds like kiwi, ostrich, ree, emu are all found in places where predators were absent. Hence, they did not use their wings for flying and resorted to ground-dwelling habits. So, the disuse of wings, it is likely to have resulted in the degeneration of wings. And this caused the development of flightless birds, right? Similarly, the loss of sight in cave dwelling animals, okay, like for example, as in the case of Proteus, it is a salamander, and they live in caves where it is completely dark and they don't need to use the eyes. Okay, so loss of sight, it may have resulted from the disuse of eyes on account of the dim light. Also, the vestigial organs in various animals, including humans, were explained on the basis of the disuse theory. I hope it is clear. Okay. The next one we have, it is acquired characters. Acquired characters are modifications brought about by an organism in the course of its life as a result of the influence of environment. So based on the environmental conditions, the characters are developed in the lifetime of an individual. Those characters are what is referred as the acquired characters. Okay, these acquired characters. So according to Lamarck, these acquired characters are inheritable or heritable. Thus, he believed in gradual progressive changes in the evolutionary process rather than sudden changes. So it is true that an organism can acquire many characters in its lifetime in response to the conditions in which it lives. For example, if individuals with similar genotypes are influenced by different environmental conditions, their phenotypes do show differences or changes. But most of the modern biologists or later biologists of the past, led by like Wieman, Mendel, and Morgan, they oppose the idea of inheritance of acquired characters. While some Russian scientists they supported the Lamarckian doctrine. According to the Russian scientists, environment can modify the nature of organisms and can affect their hereditary potentialities. The theory also appealed to Darwin and Spencer, and but most of the modern biologists agree that the acquired characters end with the death of the individual and are never passed down to the offspring. Okay, so that is regarding the acquired characters. Now that we also need to discuss about the criticism against Lamarckism and the present status of Lamarckism. Criticism, that is we can see tendency to increase in size. Okay, that was one of the laws under Lamarckism. In some cases it is true, but in many cases evolution proceeds not only without any increase but rather than through a decrease in size. Human eyes, constantly used for reading and writing, do not become more efficient but rather develop impaired vision. Similarly, we have plenty of other examples as criticism against Lamarckism. We'll discuss in the next